Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing Deep Rock Galactic. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Zarel. Let's get to it. So today we're doing the deep dive, codenamed Fearful Cemetery. But before we get to that, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and ring that bell to be notified of all future episodes as soon as they go live. So let's get into it. First stage of the deep dive has you in the Haunted Cave, collecting quarks and extracting Morkite. Haunted Cave means as soon as you spawn in, there is an unknown horror which will spawn in a few seconds later, and it will always come after one of the team members. This is a good time to point out that the deep dive is a 3-stage raid-like environment that you can play by yourself with your buddy Bosco, or with up to 3 other friends, either online or pre-made. So the unknown horror will always follow someone, and it can switch at any time. Unless there is one person that is willing to be just out of reach of the unknown horror and track them around the cave and keep them busy while everyone else does their thing. So you need to get the crystallized Morkite, so look for that bluish gray crystal on the sides and ceiling and floor of the level. And then the quarks, which are, look for the glowing blue speckles on the side of the walls, and then dig towards the light until you pop out that big crystal quark. Now there is no mule on the level, so you'll have to be your own mule. You'll have to take it from wherever you find it in the cave to wherever the rig is in the cave. And don't forget that you're not alone in the cave. There are going to be other enemies in the cave as well. And having something like heavy like the quark is going to slow you down and make you more apt to be a target for them. So once you get all of the Morkite and all of the quarks, then you can launch the rig and get out. Now, unlike normal missions, you have 2 mandatory objectives instead of 1 optional objective. So you have to do both of them before you can launch the rocket. But once you launch the rocket, you also have to wait 2 minutes before the drop pod shows up. So you'll have to defend the area and avoid the unknown horror all at the same time. So once the countdown goes to 0, the drop pod will be coming in. So it still takes a few seconds from the time that the timer runs out until the time that the drop pod drops in. And once the drop pod gets in, you just go ahead and make a beeline for it, trying to avoid the unknown horror, avoid the enemies where you can, and shooting them where you can't. Now, one of the other things that you'll want to do is make sure everyone survives. So if anyone goes down on your team, make sure that you pick them up. Make your way to the drop pod as quickly as possible. And if anyone goes down, pick them up. So hopefully you're relatively close to everyone else. If not, hopefully there is someone that can pick you up if something were to happen. As it happens, you get a bigger bonus the more dwarves that survive. So if you have 4 people on your team and all 4 of them survive all 3 stages of the deep dive, you're going to maximize your return. So you're going to get the most experience and credits out of that versus if only 1 person, let's say, survives. Now, just because the drop pod is in does not mean that the unknown horror is going to say, okay, see ya, bye, send me a postcard. It's still going to be coming after you. Even if you're in the drop pod, it could be coming for you. So do make sure that you're communicating with your team members so they know both what you're doing and what's going around you or around in the level. Much like the unknown horror, if you know that it's 20 meters away, you know you've got a little bit of breathing room. If it's like 15 meters away, then you're like, ooh, it's getting really close, I should probably move on. But that's it for the first stage of the deep dive. Moving on to the second stage. Now, the second stage of the deep dive has you collecting liquid morkite. Additionally, you also have a black box. So much like the first stage, or unlike the first stage, you're going to be doing liquid morkite in a black box. Much like the first stage, you're going to have a rig without a mule. Now the liquid morkite, you just look for the geysers, the smoke, and the blue fire. Call down the pump jack, and then you'll have to make a framework out to it from the rig. Once you have the framework set up and connected, then you just have to build the pipeline out from the rig out to the pump jack. Now, much like the other stages in the deep dive, you'll have to do both connecting the pipelines and recovering the black box before you can get out. Now in this stage, you will have to get the black box recovered fully before you can start refining the liquid morkite. So once you get all three pipelines connected, then you can do the black box, or you can do the black box at any point in time during the level. Just know that you'll have to get that done before you can progress further and get out. So the black box you'll see as a kind of pulsing green light in the stage, but you won't be able to see exactly where it's at unless you're right on top of it. So depending on line of sight, etc., it may be easier or more difficult for you to find. You just have to assemble the uplink, and then it is mainly just a zone control. So what you'll do is, once you have that set up, then you'll have this kind of bubble which is around the uplink, and you just have to defend that area, not because the bugs or other enemies are going to interfere with the transmission, but they are going to interfere with your life. So you'll want to keep that area clear of bugs to keep them or prevent them from attacking you, as per usual, I would say. And the more people that are within the zone, the faster it'll go. Once you have that transmission bar go all the way up to the top, it's complete. You've cleared that condition for this stage of the deep dive. So you're already at least halfway through. Next part, you can start refining or pumping the liquid morkite. At some point, there's going to be leaks within the pipes, and you're going to go and look for the leaks and repair them. The leaks do attract the bugs, whether it is the liquid morkite itself or the noise of the leak itself. We don't know, but they will be drawn to it, but they'll also attack you. So if they're not attacking you, then they're there for the leak. Repair the leaks, and then that percentage will continue to climb once all three, I should say, are repaired. Once you have 100%, then you're ready to launch the rocket and then get out. Now, unlike the previous stage with the Quarks, you do not have to defend the area, but you do have to wait for the drop pods. So you do have about 30 seconds before the drop pod shows up. So make sure that you have your eyes on the sky, waiting for that to show up. And once you do, then you can make your way over to it. Attack the bugs where you need to, and of course, keep your eyes open for your teammates. Try to stay together if at all possible. If not, make sure that you're helping out where you can, either by defeating bugs in the pathway between wherever your teammates are and wherever the drop pod is, or bringing them up if they go down, etc. make your way quickly over to the drop pod and get out. This is a good time to point out that everything carries over from one stage to the next. How much nitro you have in the bank, gold, as well as your ammo, your health, your grenades, etc. And even the minerals that are in your pocket. So every level you should be trying to get as much nitro and gold as possible. Gold, of course, will increase your credit score at the end of the deep dive, and nitro will help you keep flush with ammo and grenades throughout the levels. Every 80 nitro, you can call in one resupply, which has a 50% ammo for all slots, including grenades and traversal tools. Now the third stage of the deep dive has you collecting a data rack and defeating a dreadnought with Mactera Plague and Volatile Guts as modifiers. Now the dreadnoughts are the boss-like creatures of Deep Rock Galactic. They have their invulnerability stage, they have their shielding stage, and then they have their damage phase. Now we had gotten the Lacerator and Arbalest, which is a duo of dreadnoughts, and they can share health if one gets too low compared to the other one. So make sure that you're damaging each one more or less evenly so that you don't have lopsided damage, and that will cause them to heal more often. Once you're down to one dreadnought, though, you don't have to worry about what their health is at. You just have to worry about what your health is at. Take them out, and then you can move on with the next part of the stage. Now, Volatile Guts is a two-edged sword, which means that the bugs will blow up once they're defeated. And if they're close to you, they're going to damage you. If they're close to other bugs, they'll damage them. So make sure that you're taking out bugs as far away from you as possible, if at all possible. Now, Mactera Plague means that you're going to see more flyers than usual. Now, with the data rack, this is a full mission where you have to destroy the Caretaker. You have to find the power plant. You have to call down the hacker bot, connect the hacker bot to the power plant, and then start hacking it. If the hacker bot gets damaged, he's going to go into hiding, and you have to bring him back out. Again, it doesn't reset your progress, but it will stop your progress. Once it fills up to 100%, then you just have to do it one more time with the other power plant. Just follow the cables from the Caretaker, the shielded area, to where the power plant is at. Now, once you have both power plants down, then you just have to defeat the Caretaker, which is, I would argue, the main boss of Deep Rock Galactic. As a shielding stage where you have to take out the vents on the top that are rotating around. Once all 4 of those vents are damaged, it will stop where it's at, and one of the eyes in the middle will open up and be red. The rest of them will stay shut. Go ahead and damage that eye enough, and it will close, and then, of course, it'll go immune, and then you'll have to go to another one. And then you have to go through this 3 times, so 3 phases, each phase being more difficult than the last because the Caretaker is going to start throwing more and more obstacles at you, whether that is shredder drones, turrets, patrol bots, or phase bombs, which will just pop up right next to you and blow up after a short period of time. So quickly take out the Caretaker. The longer this battle takes, the more deadly it becomes, the more damaging the Caretaker is going to become, the harder it is to take him out. So do this part as quickly as you possibly can. Take out, do as much damage with whatever means possible. And since this is the last stage of the deep dive, all you need to do is take him out and then get out. So the best thing to do is hopefully you have plenty of nitro so that you can take him out quickly. with your most powerful attacks. Once you take out the caretakers, the vault will open and you'll be able to get the data rack and put it on the mule. And what's funny is this is the only stage of this week's deep dive that has a mule. So call in that drop pod and get out and you're done. Now you can follow the mule or you can make your way back to the drop pod and then wait for the mule. Just depends on whether you want to attack on the way there or if you want to defend the drop pod until you can get out. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check us out on social media, and thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we'll see you next time.
One sentry gun ready to be built. Axis hard. Careful! Here, get into cover. It's hard to move. Let's bring it home.
The mule has docked, initiating launch sequence.
We're on the same stage. Stop this.
That's one for the books. Retrieving escape pod.
Rock and stone. Shield charged and ready. You. What do we have here?